Welcome to the Relationship Revivalists podcast. My name is John, and I am here with my beautiful and awesome co-host, Jess.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Thanks for that wonderful introduction. That was so nice.
I am so honored to be able to give you that introduction.
So today we're going to talk about something that might not be popular, but if done well, it helps make life so much easier.
Oh, you've got my ear. Tell me what it is.
It makes relationships actually easier. It makes...
Tell me more.
Ooh, that was a nice voice you used there, John. So, the topic today is...
Space travel.
No? Any other guesses?
Real estate.
No.
Love?
Well, actually, it should come from love.
Okay.
The topic today is boundaries.
Oh boy, this is a fun one.
Ooh.
I can see it in her eyes right now. Her eyes are just like, if I could describe them, they're like, wow, tell me more. I want to speak. I want to tell. I want to tell stories. And OMG, this is going to be right down your alley, right?
My alley, probably. I'm just going to keep my eyes shut now. But no, really, we in all seriousness, we do want to talk a bit about boundaries today. And like I was saying, it really does help make our lives easier if we have some boundaries in place, no matter what relationship we're talking about, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your children, whether it's with other family members, maybe other adult family members too.
Even like the senior? Like even like when you're thinking that you are, they maybe outrank you in age and...
You know, sometimes they might need the most boundaries.
All right, so... boundaries are definitely something that are necessary, and I remember very vividly a few times when I was told to go somewhere else with my boundaries, and I'm not going to say who it was because that would be incriminating, but the whole idea that people actually, they frown on boundaries when they don't have them, right?
Oh, yeah, if you're not used to them. It feels confining and constricting. Mm-hmm. And you wonder why. I've always been able to do it a certain way, and now I can't. And now I can't push the envelope and push those boundaries. Why? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't like how this feels. And it's true, but whether it's kids or adults, I mean, our flesh doesn't like boundaries. Mm-hmm. But, when we look to God and how He teaches us, He's really all about the boundaries, if you think about it. So why wouldn't we do what He does?
They should totally change that song from All About the Bass to All About the Boundaries.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So anyways, so the people that don't have the boundaries... Okay, so to really explain what we're talking about when we say boundaries, let's dig in and let's find out what exactly do boundaries look like and how would a person describe boundaries to someone who has boundaries or someone who doesn't have boundaries? How would they decipher that they don't have boundaries and they need to get them?
Yeah. Well, boundaries, as we've talked about previously, really help us know the rules. So basically, they're kind of like rules in a way. Mm-hmm. And like when you think of sports... Ooh. If there were no distinct rules for a certain game, how would you even know what game you're playing? And then, once you figure out what game you're playing, if they don't really have distinctive rules for that game, how would you know who wins? How would you know if you did well or did poorly? And how would you know if you're if you're hurting someone else?
Yeah, how do you keep the players safe?
Yeah, exactly. And so boundaries are really along the same lines. And so... it's kind of nice to think about that parallel between sports because they have very distinctive rules for that game, and then the ref or the umpire or whoever is kind of officiating the game can look at the plays and decide like you're out of bounds or you did a good play or who gets the points, that sort of thing. Now in relationships, we're not, really wanting to keep score so much like a game. And it's not like I'm going to win this time, you win next time. We both, like when you're in a relationship with your significant other, you both want to feel like you're the winner, right? And you're winning together. But boundaries also help that too.
So what you're saying is these boundaries are rules so that things can be set up and essentially people can play by the rules the right way instead of like in the instance you said in sports, and the basketball playoffs are going on right now. So people will say, well, he fouled so-and-so. And, yeah, this is true. And so what's the first thing they're going to try to do? They're going to try and say, well, I didn't do that. And so this is where boundaries come in and say, well, yes, you did. And you have to pay the consequence by letting the other teams throw a free throw up there and see if they can score. And they don't have anybody guarding them. So that's the consequence. So boundaries have these consequences if you go past the boundary, so to speak. If you've, Jesus has drawn the line in the sand, and so if you go across that line that's in the sand, there are consequences for doing so.
And then also, like you were just talking about, owning up to your mistakes, because, like you said, what's the first thing that a player is going to do? Probably going to try to say, no, I didn't do it. And if we're doing that to our significant other, no, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. And you really did? Ooh, yeah, that's so really crossing a line.
Your trust factor has gone from, maybe you've built it up over the years to 70 or 80 because you made a mistake prior. And you know how much it takes to build that trust up. Trust it takes years to build up, but once you go over that trust and you destroy it, it's gone in a second. And so to build it all up again, you have to prove yourself over and over and over and over again.
And extra the next time.
Exactly. So why would you do that to yourself if you literally say, I didn't do that? What is the gain in saying that I didn't do something versus owning up to it, still having that trust there? But yeah, you're going to have some consequences there in your relationship, and maybe that consequences, he or she is just upset with you for a day, maybe two. Hopefully not two, because we're not supposed to go to bed angry.
That's right.
But
also, if you made a mistake, yes, you need to own up to it. But also, then you have a choice. You own up to it, but then what are you going to do next?
You get to make up.
Are you going to make a mistake again?
This is true.
Or are you going to really decide not to? And I think that is a real tough decision for a lot of people, because like I talked about our flesh just a minute ago, it's it's something our flesh doesn't like. We don't like those boundaries. We don't like to be found out, so to speak. We don't like to have to apologize, and we don't like to have to change. But if it's something that we're doing that the other person, it just really bothers them, that they don't like, we have to change that, especially if it's something that, might be, immoral or just not, something that is helping your relationship out.
Right. So, the whole idea of being dishonest and not having any kind of boundaries put in your life is actually making your life much, much more difficult if that's what you're doing. Now, there's not too many people, I think, that would actually purposely do this to themselves in their lives. And if they're doing, what we've described, maybe they aren't aware of what they're doing to themselves. Here at Relationship Revivalists, we like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. We like to say, we just need to coach, or we need to teach how to have a better relationship. And once they've proven themselves unworthy of that, then we take different methods, different routes. But until then, we give the benefit of doubt. And that benefit of the doubt is just saying, well, the boundaries are this, and you went over this boundary, and so because you've done that, now you have a consequence from your significant other. And your significant other pretty much has the ball in their court, so to speak. and really gets to say, well, this is what I want to do about this. And maybe they overreact because maybe you overreact by saying, I didn't do that, and you were going to lie about it. So if you're in that situation, it can really go from a small little pebble, and it can build all the way to a big, gigantic boulder if you let it go back and forth like that. So who's going to be the big person on the block and say, enough is enough, this is where we're going to go with this, and set the right boundaries out for the relationship? Right?
Yeah, that was really, really good, John, that you also mentioned how, like, if you're on the receiving end of something like that, how are you going to respond? Are you going to respond with grace? Or are you going to respond by way overreacting? Now, of course, there are times, heaven forbid, it would be like a really, really terrible, terrible bad thing that would happen to a person. And in that case, they would have to make sure first and foremost that they're safe and that they're in a safe environment. But we're not really talking about those kinds of extreme things.
Right.
We're talking about just regular, everyday.
Yeah, just everyday people that are making mistakes, and then if maybe they don't know it, and if they do, we coach them or teach them and get them back on track, because that's what we do when we love and we care for people, right?
Right, exactly. And so it is important that, yes, you own up to your mistake, but the person on the receiving end of the mistake has to decide how they're going to react too. And when you have two mature people
that really know what they're doing,
right,
they're gonna take in consideration the consequences, what the action was that deserved the consequences, and they're not going to go over on the deep end and say, well, you're gonna do this, and I don't care if you like it or not, this is what's going to happen. No, they're going to respond in love.
And the person who made the mistake is not going to respond like, well, I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway. If they know that it hurts the other person or the other person doesn't like it, they're really going to take that to heart, and they're going to make a better decision next time. And so we hope that helps about boundaries. And also, it's important to have boundaries. I think we talked about this in a previous podcast, but boundaries with other people who might be close to you, like maybe other family members as well, because remember, God is the only one who should ever be in between you and your spouse, right? Because
I think that was like episode 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah. So we just want to circle back to that again, and just that little reminder, because it's so important that you don't allow, like, maybe older family members or younger family members to try to weave their way into that precious space. Remember that your union is precious and God values it so deeply. We're very strong, like, you and your spouse are very strong spiritually together. It's a spiritual thing, and it's a natural thing as well. And there are so many really cool things that God says about having that kind of relationship. And so just remember to value your relationship so much that you won't let anyone else get in between you.
Absolutely. And that really leads us into, if you haven't downloaded our ebook yet, we seriously encourage you to take that step and download our ebook. It is an amazing ebook. We have had some feedback on it, and the feedback has been absolutely awesome. We love hearing the feedback because it comes back and they're like, you guys did an amazing job writing that ebook. So it is 7 simple secrets to have a loving, lasting relationship. And it goes into much more than that, but that's the title of it. And, I think that if you go and do that and download our ebook, read it, and give us some feedback on it, we encourage that too. You're going to love it. It's a short read, and I'm not talking, like a day. I'm talking like you could read it in an hour. Oh, yeah. And you would be done with it, and you would get so much value out of it. I think you would appreciate that you were referred to download the ebook. So the way you get to that ebook is, you can go to the show notes and you can click on the link in your app. You can just scroll down and check the show notes. Or you can go to our blog at therelationshiprevivalists.com /7 secrets, and that will get you to the page where you can download the ebook. We hope you guys do that, and in the next episode, we're going to tell you a little bit about something that we just experienced. That's what I'm going to leave it at, so that you guys have a little bit of curiosity going there. But for now, we're going to sign off. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us and to improve your relationship with the hints and tips and all that we give you on our podcast and on our Facebook page, as well as our blog. So with that, we will talk to you next week. And this is John and Jess signing off.
See you later.